We live in a society fixated on movement, on doing, on forcing outcomes. But what if everything you've heard about manifestation has been upside down? What if the very effort to pursue your desires is the reason they keep slipping away? In the domain of quantum manifestation, this mindset doesn't just fall short, it pushes results away. Quantum reality isn't straightforward. It doesn't answer to pressure. It aligns with harmony. And harmony starts when your inner world mirrors the reality you claim to want. Most people attempt to draw in prosperity while resonating with scarcity. They imagine love while emanating isolation. They declare freedom while carrying fear. That internal mismatch is what the field responds to. Not your affirmations, not your vision board, not the ceremony. Here's the secret few ever mention. Manifestation doesn't occur because you requested it. It unfolds because you transformed. In quantum language, the field, a web of limitless possibilities, doesn't react to effort. It aligns with frequency, which means your role isn't to force, but to synchronize, to stop chasing, and to begin embodying. This is where so many falter. They hear advice like feel as if it's already yours or vibrate with what you desire, but it seems artificial, unreachable. That's because they haven't grasped the paradox yet. The state of allowing is the true magnetic force. The observer effect in quantum physics reveals that attention shapes outcomes, but only when charged with expectation, not anxiety. When you witness reality through trust and certainty, the wave collapses into form. But when viewed through panic and tension, it stays suspended, potential, never substance. Let's pause for a moment. This isn't about guilt. It's about awakening to how your frequency interacts with creation itself. Think of tuning a radio. If you're trying to catch 98.7 FM while your dial rests on 88.1, no matter how much you crave that song, you won't hear it until you adjust your signal. That's the essence of quantum manifestation. Not demanding the universe to deliver, but matching the wavelength where your desired life already lives. This is where timeless wisdom meets modern understanding. Neville Goddard often taught about living from the end, stepping into the emotional imprint of your dream realized. Joe Dispenza now explains how the mind and heart must align, sending the quantum field one coherent signal of creation. Abraham Hicks describes it as entering the vortex, that emotional harmony where resistance dissolves and receiving flows. And here lies the deeper truth. Simplicity terrifies the ego. We've been conditioned to think that worth comes through struggle, that change must involve hardship, that progress requires constant grinding. But in the quantum realm, the truth is reversed. The harder you pursue, the more you reinforce lack. The more you try to control, the stronger resistance becomes. That's why this video is titled Quantum Manifestation is Simple. And that's exactly why most people miss it. Because simplicity isn't glamorous. It doesn't sell easily. It isn't loud or dramatic, yet it's the doorway to transformation. In the coming sections, we'll dive deeper. We'll uncover how to recalibrate your energetic blueprint, how the field reflects your inner landscape, and how to finally live as the version of yourself who magnetizes rather than chases. But first, consider this. The reality you long for already exists. In quantum mechanics, every possible timeline is happening simultaneously. Your task isn't to force your way there, it's to align with it. So stop striving and begin embodying. Not later, not when success shows up, not when love finds you. Now. That's when the field starts to react. If your outer world is a mirror, then what is it really mirroring back? Most people treat manifestation like a checklist. Visualize every morning, repeat affirmations, write intentions multiple times. And though these techniques have value, they often turn robotic, surface-level efforts to polish the mirror instead of changing the reflection itself. The truth is the quantum field doesn't answer to your words. It responds to your state of being. And being isn't an act. It's not faking abundance while stressing over bills. It's not saying you believe while secretly fearing it won't work. Being is alignment, a deep vibrational harmony between your inner essence and the life you wish to live. Joe Dispenza describes it beautifully. Your thoughts carry electricity, and your emotions emit magnetism. Together, they form an electromagnetic pattern that projects your state into the quantum field. That very field, containing every possible version of reality, rearranges itself according to the signal you broadcast, not based on what you desire, but on what you embody. Let's unpack that.
Imagine you want to live a life of financial abundance. If you're constantly anxious, checking your balance, and picturing worst-case scenarios, your energetic signal vibrates with lack, and lack doesn't invite wealth, it multiplies itself. The field isn't punishing or rewarding you, it simply mirrors your frequency. Now here's the secret. The most potent way to shift your signal isn't by chasing a better future, but by embodying it now. Feel it in this moment. Practice the vibration of your desired life until it becomes second nature, not as make-believe, but as remembrance. Because somewhere in the boundless multiverse, that version of you already exists. When you emotionally and mentally align with that version, you start collapsing that potential into tangible reality. This isn't fantasy. Neuroscience confirms it. Through neuroplasticity, the brain literally restructures itself through mental rehearsal. When you visualize a future experience and summon the emotions of gratitude, joy, or peace, your brain begins wiring as if it's already happening. Keep doing this and your body learns the future before it arrives. And when your body believes, the field follows. Neville Goddard expressed this long ago when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." He wasn't advising pretense, he meant merge with it. Let the emotion of your desired outcome become more authentic than your current conditions. Let it settle into your nervous system until it feels like home. Because here's what most overlook. Manifestation isn't asking the universe for something new. It's merging with the version of yourself who already has it and bringing that state into the present. Not through effort, but through resonance. And once that resonance becomes steady, the field mirrors it as experience. Something profound happens when you stop waiting for signs and start being the sign. When you stop searching for synchronicities and begin living in alignment, reality starts to bend. Time feels fluid. Events click effortlessly into place, not because of luck, but because of coherence. In quantum physics, observation collapses the wave function, turning potential into form. But not every observation carries equal power. Observation infused with trust and emotional clarity collapses reality far faster than attention clouded by fear or doubt. So ask yourself, what version of reality are you continuously observing from within? When people say act as if, it's not about faking confidence or pretending to be someone else. It's about adopting the emotional stance of someone who already knows, someone who doesn't need proof, because they're already embodying the evidence before it appears. This is where the art of mastering your frequency begins. And once you do, you don't attract reality. You become the magnetic force that draws it in. Now that we understand the quantum field doesn't deliver what you want, but what you are, the next question is, how do you collapse potential into form? Quantum physics shows that every possible reality exists in a state of superposition. Your dream career, your perfect relationship, your financial abundance. These aren't faraway fantasies, but present possibilities awaiting your selection. Yet they don't materialize just because you think of them. They manifest when your observation, your concentrated awareness, triggers the collapse of the wave. But not through idle attention. The field reacts to emotionally charged focus, to observation infused with belief, trust, embodiment, and energetic harmony. When you feel your future as though it's already real, you begin to impress that reality onto the quantum field. You're not chasing it anymore, you're stabilizing it. And in that alignment, the universe responds naturally. Joe Dispenza teaches that this process hinges on coherence, the synchronization between the heart and the brain. Most people exist in mental noise and emotional discord. Their minds desire one thing, but their emotions signal fear. Their actions scatter in doubt and resistance, and within that disharmony, the field receives a scrambled signal. When your heart and mind align, your broadcast strengthens. You stop sending contradictions and begin transmitting a steady frequency of gratitude, confidence, and certainty, the energetic code of someone who already is who they once wished to be. From a neurobiological view, each emotion triggers specific biochemical shifts. Gratitude releases dopamine and oxytocin, trust elevates serotonin. These aren't just feel-good hormones, they alter your physiology, and your physiology determines your point of attraction. When you can generate these elevated emotions without waiting for external proof, you step back into your creative authority. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. This is how reality begins to transform. Neville Goddard often said, "Your assumptions harden into facts." What he meant is this: your sustained emotional assumptions create a gravitational field that reorganizes your external world. The outer always mirrors the inner. And this isn't merely philosophy, it's physics, confirmed by what modern science now understands about the universe. Observer effect, entanglement, and coherence, the trio that defines quantum creation. The observer effect reveals that whatever you focus on expands, and beyond that, it evolves. You're not merely witnessing your future unfold, you're actively sculpting it with every thought, emotion, and decision. But the real question is, how do you sustain that awareness? How do you continue living as though your desired reality already exists? This is where most people lose momentum. They connect with the frequency briefly during meditation or journaling, but then drift back into old patterns, worrying, doubting, scrolling, and reinforcing their current self-image. That's like planting a seed and digging it up daily to see if it's sprouting. Manifestation thrives on energetic steadiness. It doesn't demand flawlessness, just consistency. It's the act of returning over and over to the version of you who already possesses what you desire. Not just mentally, but emotionally. Not only in speech, but through your everyday actions. Even the smallest gestures count. Walk as if, breathe as if, decide as if. Each choice in alignment compounds, and every moment you choose coherence over fear, mindfulness over distraction, you strengthen the quantum signature of your new reality. Here's where things become truly fascinating. Once you stabilize that vibration, the universe begins to reply through what many call synchronicity. Unexpected meetings, effortless opportunities, intuitive insights, flashes of clarity, people appearing at just the right time. It's not luck or coincidence. It's the quantum field reorganizing itself around your consistent signal. You'll know you're nearing manifestation when you feel it deep within, not as restless anticipation, but as calm certainty, a grounded knowing, an unshakable sense of inevitability. That's when you stop wondering where it is and begin feeling it's already mine. At this point, you've shifted from wishful thinking to energetic authorship. You've crossed from possibility into embodiment. And from there, transformation unfolds, not just in your outer experience, but in your perception itself. You no longer seek validation because your frequency becomes its own proof. You've collapsed the wave, and now the life you once imagined is imagining you back. This is the moment you begin to live from the end, not toward it.
Everything begins to shift. But let's be real, this is where most people hit a wall. Not because they lack faith, but because they don't understand how to become what they desire. They attempt to think their way into a new life without feeling it. They wish for transformation while repeating the same emotional programs, but the field doesn't respond to hope. It responds to energetic conviction. Quantum manifestation isn't about thinking positively until miracles show up. It's about attuning yourself to the frequency of the timeline you want to experience. That timeline, that version of you, already exists. You're not creating it from nothing, you're choosing it through energetic resonance. How do you know when you're aligned? You stop fixating on how it will happen. You no longer chase validation, signs, or reassurance. You grow less reactive to the outer world and more anchored in your internal vibration. Abraham Hicks often says, you can't get there from there. Meaning you can't manifest the version of you who is abundant, calm, and fulfilled from a state of worry, doubt, or lack.
You must begin to act, decide, and most importantly, feel as if you're already living it. That's when the magic begins. You start attracting new thoughts, not the ones you force, but the ones that naturally belong to that higher version of you. Your intuition sharpens. You notice fresh possibilities unfolding. Synchronicities multiply. Reality softens, becoming fluid and responsive. Time itself begins to bend, as though life is accelerating to meet your new frequency. Joe Dispenza explains that when you enter elevated emotional states, like gratitude, love, or awe, your brain and heart synchronize into gamma coherence. In this state, your nervous system becomes more adaptive, more open to new possibilities. Your energetic field turns magnetic, and manifestation becomes effortless, not through control, but through alignment. You've become the channel through which that reality flows. That's why the message is always the same. Stop chasing, start attracting. It's not about effort, it's about calibration. If you've ever experienced a moment where everything felt perfectly into place, the right person, the perfect timing, an opportunity you didn't plan, you've already felt the quantum field respond to your alignment. Now imagine living in that state intentionally every day. That's the journey we're on here. And now, let's speak directly to your subconscious, because there's a reason this message found you right now. You've probably felt that your manifestations are taking too long, that something unseen might be blocking them, or that maybe you're missing a step. But here's the truth. You've always been far closer than you realize. The simple fact that you're hearing this message right now is evidence that your energy field is ready to evolve. You're not broken, you're not late. There's nothing to chase, only a state to stabilize. The version of you who no longer strives, who simply knows, who moves with calm confidence and magnetic presence, that version already exists. And with every moment you remember this truth, you shorten the distance between where you are and what you desire. So let this be your turning point, the moment you stop striving and start remembering, the moment you fully embody the self who already lives the reality you've been calling in. Let this be your quantum shift, the bridge between waiting and being. And now here's something powerful to ground this transformation. If this message resonates with you, if you can feel your next level aligning, comment 777 below. Why 777? Because in numerology and many spiritual systems, 777 represents divine alignment. It's a frequency that symbolizes your path unfolding in perfect harmony. When you encounter 777, it's not just a coincidence, it's a reflection showing that your inner world is syncing with your higher potential. It's confirmation that your manifestation isn't pending, it's already pulsing within your field. So when you type 777, you're not merely engaging, you're activating. You're declaring your coherence, tuning yourself to the vibration of receiving. And as you do, you amplify the frequency, not only for yourself, but for everyone reading alongside you. That's how the quantum field operates. It magnifies what we affirm in unity. So go ahead, type 777 in the comments. Watch others do the same. Notice how your energy feels afterward. Consider this your signal to the universe. I no longer chase, I attract, because I already am. If there's one message the quantum field keeps softly echoing to those who truly listen, it's this: there is nothing left to wait for. Every version of your life, every path, every potential, every timeline already exists. It's not something you force into being, it's something you tune into through energetic harmony. And that shift doesn't demand years of struggle or complicated rituals. It begins the instant you stop searching for proof outside yourself and start embodying the frequency within. Think about it. The version of reality where your manifestations are already alive isn't distant. It's right beside you, vibrationally near. You don't need to leap to it, only to stop resonating with the one you're ready to move beyond. This is what Neville Goddard said when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." It's not about daydreaming or false hope. It's the sacred science of self-selection. You're not pleading with life to become something new. You're declaring to it, "This is who I am now." And because the quantum field always mirrors coherence, it aligns accordingly. But here's the truth. You can't fake that energy. You can't pretend to feel abundance while rooted in uncertainty. You can't repeat affirmations from a place of fear. You can't meditate into a new future while mentally clinging to the past. The field isn't swayed by surface actions. It responds only to the frequency beneath your thoughts, and that's where your real power lives. So how do you access it? You practice coherence. You choose again and again to return to alignment. Not once, not occasionally, but as devotion, as a way of being. You begin to speak differently, move differently, and treat both yourself and others as though you already are the person you've envisioned. Soon it stops feeling like pretending. You're simply living it. This is the hidden, yet obvious quantum code of manifestation. Not concealed because it's secret, but because it's simple. Too effortless for a mind conditioned to complexity. Too gentle for a world addicted to struggle. Yet within that simplicity lies your ultimate key. The more you release the need to control or push, the more effortlessly reality arranges itself around you. Allow yourself to trust this. Stop waiting for external evidence. Become the evidence. And remember, the most profound manifestations rarely arrive with fireworks. They come quietly, through subtle yet powerful moments. A calm breath, an inner peace, a sudden knowing. The universe whispers softly when delivering what you've already claimed. So ask yourself, what if the transformation you've been waiting for is simply waiting for you to stop waiting? What if your next timeline is already watching you, ready for the signal that says, I'm ready, let's collapse the distance? If this speaks to you, share your reflection, your intention, or your affirmation in the comments below. Let this space become more than a video. Let it serve as a frequency portal. Let your words here anchor your energy into the quantum field. And as you scroll through, feel the connection. You are not alone. We are a wave, a movement, a living field of coherence. If this message awakens something within you, consider subscribing, not just for the content, but for the connection. This channel is a sanctuary for those who know the universe is always listening, for those ready to become what they've been seeking. You're not growing into power. You already are power. You're not learning to manifest. You're remembering how reality has always responded to your frequency. And the moment you stop chasing and begin aligning, that's when manifestation turns effortless. That's when it truly becomes magical.